Very interesting event. The news about Taehyung and Jungkook has once again rocked the digital space after an incident that initially seemed simple turned into a huge spark that ignited debate among the army. In the past 24 hours, hashtags about Taehyung have suddenly peaked on various social media platforms. But what makes the public even more confused is the fact that Jungkook, who was not in the main incident, was dragged into the huge flow of conversation. The furor stemmed from Taehyung's short post that looked ambiguous, mysterious, and gave a lot of room for speculation, making fans try to find the hidden meaning behind his words and expressions. As is always the case in the midst of a very active global fandom, anything that concerns BTS rarely stops at one point. It was from this that Jungkook's name began to be associated, creating a new dynamic that was much bigger than anyone imagined. The incident began when Taehyung posted a black and white photo that looked artistic, but his expression looked sad and his eyes focused to the side, as if he was thinking about something heavy. There are no long captions, just one short sentence that makes everything even more mysterious. Some things are better left unexplained. The sentence immediately exploded into thousands of interpretations. Many fans assumed Taehyung was sharing his personal feelings. Some suspected he was talking about pressure in the industry, and others dared to speculate he was referring to someone. Within minutes, various fanbase accounts on X and Weibo began to clarify, expand, and even form their own narratives about Taehyung's intentions. But the most unexpected thing was when a number of netizens immediately pulled Jungkook's name and made a theory that was more complicated than a television drama. This is where things get really hot. One big fan account, which has millions of followers, posted a lengthy analysis linking Taehyung's post to Jungkook's live moments a few days earlier. On the live, Jungkook said something that at that time sounded relaxed, but is now being reread by netizens with different glasses. When asked if he misses anyone, Jungkook simply smiled and said, "I always miss the people in my heart." Previously, the sentence did not contain anything controversial, but after Taehyung's post appeared, many related it as if the two BTS members were conveying messages to each other implicitly. That's where the speculation starts to grow. Is there something going on between the two? Are they facing internal problems? Or are they both trying to keep something out of the public eye? Amid the commotion, the public's attention did not stop at just the two of them. In fact, the increasingly wild theories have divided the army. One camp considers netizens to be too excessive and like to look for meaning, while the other camp feels that Taehyung and Jungkook's interaction lately feels different. Some fans relifted old clips, especially clips of their closeness, to compare whether there has been any change in their relationship lately. Ironically, the more the army tried to silence the issue, the greater the debate created as non-fan accounts got involved, provoking comments that muddied the atmosphere. Things heated up when an overseas online media also dropped an article speculating about the two idols' relationship. Although the media is known to often exaggerate issues, the public still read it, and the article also spread to various platforms. As a result, discussions about Taehyung and Jungkook reached a wider audience, including people who had not previously followed the dynamics of fandom. Jungkook, who was not involved in anything, suddenly became the target of the conversation. Many brought up past moments that were deemed to fit the developing narrative, while others felt Jungkook shouldn't be dragged down just because Taehyung uploaded something personal. Interestingly, amid the dense speculation, a Korean entertainment insider also posted a cryptic comment on Instagram story that further muddied the situation. Some relationships are tested when everything looks fine from the outside. Without naming anyone, the comment was immediately thought to be directed at Taehyung and Jungkook. The army, which initially tried to calm the situation, became more vigilant and began sending clarifications to the media, asking them to stop writing things without a clear source. However, as is often the case with big rumors, the more the public tries to dampen, the more outsiders try to capitalize on the trend to grab attention. The international fans even began to raise hashtags to protect Jungkook from being dragged into issues that were not his actions. They voiced that linking idle comments, expressions, or uploads excessively will only cause unnecessary drama. But on the other hand, some fans actually enjoy this mysterious dynamic and hope for clarification from both. Some accounts even demanded HYBE to speak out, something that is rare, even almost impossible, to happen given that the company has always maintained the privacy of its artists. However, things became a little clearer when a staff member who had worked with the idols wrote a reassuring comment. They're fine. Sometimes a person's mood is not about the other person. Unfortunately, the clarification did not have time to dampen all speculation because most netizens have already decided that there is a hidden meaning that they are looking for. Jungkook again goes through the day where his name is called without him doing anything, while Taehyung remains silent, making the mystery even thicker. This surge in rumors shows the one thing that always happens in the life of a world-class idol. Every little emotion, every ambiguous word, every silent moment can become a big spark that sparks an international furor. Taehyung may just be sharing his feelings, but everyone feels the need to connect him to something or someone. Jungkook, who was not part of the post, was caught in the middle of a speculative dynamic that he had no control over. Behind the scenes, HYBE's silence actually makes netizens feel more and more sure that there is something to hide, even though it could be nothing more than a coincidence. In the end, this furor proved how powerful BTS's influence is on the public. When Taehyung only wrote one short sentence, the entire virtual universe immediately moved. As Jungkook's name dragged on, the heat of discussion doubled. And as rumors continue to grow with no obvious roots, ARMY stands in the middle, trying to keep the line between curiosity and respect for the privacy of their idols. Until now, there is no official explanation from anyone, but perhaps that is precisely what makes it all the more interesting. An open mystery that leaves the public guessing endlessly in the fast-paced world of entertainment, where a single upload can change the global conversation in seconds. This incident is a clear example of how vulnerable Taehyung and Jungkook are, two figures who are always in the spotlight. They are not only idols with millions of fans, but also human beings who sometimes want to talk without being overinterpreted. But for the public who already love them too much, every detail is a hint. And as long as the mystery hasn't been solved, this furor doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. The calm that had been felt by the public seemed to be disturbed again when an old clip suddenly went viral amid the heat of the conversation about Taehyung and Jungkook. The clip shows a sweet moment of the two while backstage at a concert a few years ago, a moment that was once considered funny and natural, now reparsed and adapted to the growing rumor narrative. Many fan-edit accounts re-uploaded the moment and added dramatic captions as if Taehyung and Jungkook had given the code a long time ago. In a matter of hours, the social media algorithm turned into a speculation multiplying machine, pushing the clip to millions of users who had not previously followed the development of these rumors.